Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Lula DeFersha. I am the campaign director for Philadelphia Parks Alliance, and I'm super excited. I'm solo today. Steve has other engagements, so I'll be by myself. However, I have two special guests today, which I'm super excited that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. But we have 5 viewers already. Please let us know where you are watching from in the comment section so we can give you a shout out. Oh, our viewers are growing. This is pretty cool. So I feel like, our guest today might be super popular because we usually don't get that many engagement this fast. Welcome again. My name is Lula DeFresh. I am the campaign director for Philadelphia Parks Alliance. We started this virtual reading initiative about 6 weeks ago or so, just another way to connect with our local leaders, authors, and service providers. Just, give parents and caretakers a break to let their kids hear maybe from other folks to read some of their favorite children's books. And it's been super successful. Today we have here we go. Please comment in the comment section to let us know where you are watching from. Today, we have two guests. We have the executive director of Friends of Wissahickon, Ruffian, and then we also have the co-founder of Let's Go Outdoors, Keisha. We're super excited to bring them on shortly, but first I'm going to bring Ruffian. Thank you guys for commenting. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you on our virtual reading platform. This is our first time meeting virtually. Yeah. So I'm super excited to meet you. And I have heard so many awesome things about you and your organization. I actually had a meeting with your staff, Noah and Sarah. And I learned so much, and I'm new to Philadelphia Parks Alliance. I was so grateful that they were able to make time for me and educate me about the work that you are doing, and more grateful for you to take time to be part of this initiative and to talk about the work that you are doing. But also, you just became an executive director, I believe, like a year ago.
January. It feels like 100 years ago, but just January 1st.
Like, you're not new. You have been, with FOW since 2006 or so.
2006.
So I want to talk for you, obviously. Please tell us more about just your background, how you got involved with FOW, and we'll go from there.
All right. So, yes, I've been the executive director since January 1st. Before that, since about 2017, I was the deputy director. And before that, I was the director of development since 2006. And then since I'm so old, I also worked other places before that. I had been at the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts as their director of membership and annual giving for 3 years. And I'm just going backwards in time. Before that, I was at the Wadsworth Athenaeum of Art in Hartford, Connecticut for a couple of years. And I started out right out of college as a development assistant at Mystic Seaport in Mystic, Connecticut. So, yeah.
What a journey.
Yeah.
And all prepared you for you to finally end up at Friends of Wissahickon, which super grateful for. And
as am I. I'm grateful to have been with the Friends. It's an amazing organization. And, so, the Wissahickon Valley Park is an amazing place.
I'm just curious in your new role, and it's unusual times because, we have this pandemic going on. And
yes.
The world has just completely shut down, and the work that you do is all about encouragement, like we were talking about behind the scenes, just outdoors, and now everything is virtual.
Yes.
And I'm just curious to know, how have you as an organization pivoted to a new approach in working with your base?
Right. So first and foremost, we're fortunate that we had a couple tools already in place to continue monitoring at the baseline, monitoring what's going on in the park. And that's the ability for folks to text in problems that they might see with geolocation, our communication channels with the landowner, Parks and Recreation, and a close relationship we have with the district staff on a day-to-day basis. We have a shop with our machines and tools located very close to where they are. So I think that's been the biggest thing, is having a strong relationship with our partner at the city level, Parks and Recreation. It's been a huge challenge. Friends of the Wissahickon has been gathering volunteers in stewardship for 95 years. And the last several years, we've been building towards a model that's leveraging larger groups of people to come together and then disperse throughout the park on any given day to work on multitudes of projects.
Right.
Large gatherings are not encouraged right now. So that's taking a lot of rethinking. At the moment, we are encouraging folks that are letting us know that they're out and about and they want to do something to just let us know, well, what are you doing? What are you seeing? Are you seeing a problem? Report it. We're cataloging it. We're putting it on the list. As far as trash pickup, that's a huge thing. And so tons of people are out there telling us that they're going out and they're picking up trash. And so again, we're asking them to report in their kind of self-guided volunteer time. Right. But it's not in an organized fashion right now. It's really on people's own schedules. We're moving towards trying to have deploy in shifts, small groups of volunteers, and have a platform for people to sign up to do that. As soon as we feel like it's the right time, the safest time to do that, we're looking at the lowest points of visitorship in the park that we might be able to then send folks out in their teams, hopefully starting in your household and then maybe moving out into smaller groups that are adhering to social distancing. But it's a real challenge.
It really is. And where the weather is changing and, I'm an avid jogger. So I'm always outside jogging, and I'm noticing the basketball courts are more full. The parks are, people are eager to go out because we've been cooped up in the house for a while now. So I'm sure that brings up a different challenge to this chaos that we're experiencing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so therapeutic to be outside. I'm sure you find that, right? And especially to be outside near trees and green space. I think there's plenty of studies out there that show how healing that can be for people. I think our real concern is when we see people packed together in those dense situations. We were talking a little bit about points of congestion, parking lots, traditional gathering spaces in our parks. And then those are real concerns. I think there's no easy answers. We want to make sure that people still have these open spaces. So it's going to take a lot of creative thought and messaging and continuing to just work at it to make these spaces continue to be available in a positive way.
I completely agree. I'm just curious before we transition to talking about partnership and also your awesome volunteers that I learned so much about from Sarah. Yeah. Actually, let's talk about the volunteers.
Okay, I love talking about volunteers.
Because you mentioned about them earlier briefly, but I learned so many incredible stories from your staff when I had met with Sarah and Noah. And please, take over and tell us.
Great. Yeah. So Friends of the Wissahickon, as I mentioned, we just turned 95 last year. So, we're looking forward to 100, hoping that will be, 96 has kind of been a bummer so far. But we have such a long tradition of volunteers, and we have a huge trained corps of trail ambassadors who really work as almost like a park docent. They have safety training as well as history and geology and water quality training. So they lead guided walks and talks, and as well as patrol in pairs in shifts around the park, offering informational assistance, maps, leashes for folks that might have forgotten that Philadelphia has a 6-foot leash law, and just are really eyes and ears out there. They're not enforcement. They're part of our motto, let's be friends, just, letting folks know that where they are and the great history and the environmental asset that the Wissahickon Valley Park is. On top of those folks who number over 100 and go through a 5 to 6 week training module every year, we have trained crew leaders who are specialists in the kind of restoration work that we do in the park, whether it's planting or trail building, invasive plant removal. So they're able to really multiply the impact of our volunteer manager and our field staff in leading groups of volunteers in an organized fashion on important restoration work in the park. Wow. And then we have our dedicated Just, people who come out with friends and family on a Saturday or a Thursday afternoon. And they may be regulars. They may just drop in with a corporate group. They come a few times a year, but of that, we're well over 1,000 people. And last year we had almost 17,000 hours contributed by volunteers, which was a huge increase over the previous year. So it's been amazing. But really right now we're in a kind of developing how we shift those large gatherings of folks into a coordinated force that's out there safely.
Right. Large groups coming together. And I'm sure we have a lot of viewers who might be interested in just learning more about your organization or even signing up for volunteer opportunity. And can you tell us how they can go about that?
Sure. You just go to fow.org and there's a button that says volunteer, and that'll take you to all of the sign up registrations. Of course, right now you'll see a lot of things that say canceled, but soon we will have the ability for folks to sign up for small shifts and do their training virtually. So, we would pre-record what the assignment is and how to do it and where you might pick up whatever you might need and how to get out there and do that work. But we're not quite there yet.
Okay. Well, I'll share the link in the comment section. But how about we talk about your partners?
Yeah. So I'm thrilled that we have Keisha Scovens from Let's Go Outdoors with us.
Yes.
Keisha and I go way back to like 2014 when FOW turned 90.
Wow.
And we had a family picnic celebration, and Let's Go Outdoors, a great organization that Keisha and her sister founded to encourage city communities to get out into outdoor spaces. And they came and sponsored were one of our sponsors at the event and brought great activities and camping information. And we just stayed in touch from there. And they did a survey study for us on what people in nearby park neighborhoods know about the Wissahickon Valley Park, why or why not do they come to visit, what sort of programming would be really interesting. And so now we're into another phase of that work, building out of the survey is programming for near park communities to engage users. And again, that's also required a pivot because a lot of it was going to be kind of this in-person hook.
Right.
At the same time that we were developing that relationship on programming, FOWs really decided to expand a small school program. We had Little Friends of the Wissahickon based around our Goodnight Wissahickon Valley Park board book. And this was we started kind of in a pilot way with a few schools nearby, offering free copies of the book, a map, an in-classroom reading to kindergarten or first grade classes, and then a field trip to the park. And we provided lunch and really trying to develop stewardship early and also kind of ownership of, you're a Philadelphia person. You're growing up here. This is your park and you can read your little book and then come and see that all of these places are real. And you get to experience it. And
so much.
So we wanted to do it bigger. And at the same time, Let's Go Outdoors was really getting a lot of interest in they're very plugged into the school district and providing programming for, I think, 4th grade and middle school and high school programs. And we're getting a lot of calls for something for the younger grades. And so it just seemed like a perfect fit that they already had this great connection and partnership expansively with the school district that we could sync up and take Little Friends bigger. And that was supposed to happen this spring with lots of field trips. And so it's, again, now we're working to offer that programming mostly virtually with then possibly a small in-person component that Keisha and her sister Tarsha have been developing. So
how about we bring Keisha on?
Yay!
So much about her organization. Hello. Welcome. You have been in the background smiling and nodding your head. We're super excited to have you. But before we get to you reading your book, I really want to know about your incredible organization that you co-founded with your twin sister, just the inspiration behind it.
Yes, to tell you about the history of Let's Go Outdoors, it is really based on what my sister and I seeing. So like you said, my sister and I founded Let's Go Outdoors based on the fact that we were growing up as kids in a city community and we did not do a lot of outdoor activities. And as we grew up and we started to have these experiences, we would meet people who would say, oh, I went across the country, or I visited this state park, or I went to this place and I backpacked across Europe. But we realized that, this was amazing and we weren't able to do it. But until we got to college and we got a little older, we started kind of taking part in these types of activities.
Mm.
And we realized, wow, there's not a lot of people of color, or when we were in our city communities, there's not a lot of people from the city experiencing this. And so we had our own families and realized we want to bring this to our kids and be able to experience the outdoors in a different way. And so we were in Philadelphia at the time, and we started to be able to offer programs. And we thought, wow, why don't we create this business plan and put it together and start to engage city communities in these outdoor experiences. So that's when we started to hook up with different partners, and we started to do programs, introducing people to, what's local, what's in their natural environment, how to really appreciate outdoor activities. So that's when we started exposing people to things like camping and fishing and hiking, and really getting involved in places, especially like our Wissahickon Valley Park.
I agree. I agree 100%. A lot of times, I think I myself included, that I'm always looking outside, like for that nature aspect of exploring, like, oh, I want to go to this country, this state. But you really do forget what's in your backyard and in your neighborhood. And what I love about your organization is you are bringing in folks who don't really, like myself, don't pay attention like the park next door to me, but I'd rather go to maybe like a different community to enjoy their park. Like, so you have the ability to highlight the beauty of what's within in your own community, and I just love that.
Yep,
So
exactly.
Tell us about the book that you two picked.
Okay, so just like Ruffian said, the book that we are going to be reading along today with is Good Night, Wissahickon Valley Park. And so the book was chosen because it's part of the Little Friends of the Wissahickon program. And so again, like Ruffian said, we are bringing this book and the experience of the Wissahickon Valley Park to our younger audience. Let's Go Outdoors has traditionally done work in schools, and we are so excited to reach out to our younger kiddos, our kindergarten, first, second graders, who are really interested in learning about what's in their neighborhood, what's in their city, and then having the opportunity to even visit some of the places we're going to see and talk about in the book.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So I'm going to take myself off, and then Ruffian, I'm going to take you off as well.
Okay.
So you have the screen to yourself. Go right ahead and read the book, and then once you're finished, we'll be back up on the screen. Oh.
Hello, everyone. Hi, friends. So like I said, today we're going to be reading Good Night, Wissahickon Valley Park. And I want you to know that I have some friends behind me, some stuffed friends, that are going to join me in reading this book. So I have my friend Turtle here, and I have my two dog pals here that are going to join in the reading. So one of the things with the Wissahickon Valley Park is that you can see all sorts of amazing things. So let's take a look at what we are going to see. So this is the book, Good Night, Wissahickon Valley Park. So let's see if you recognize anything, my friends from Philadelphia. I know there might be other people tuning in from other places, but if you get the chance to go to Philadelphia, you do not want to miss going to the Wissahickon Valley Park. So you might be able to see something here that you say, I want to go see that. So you tell your parents or your adults in your life to let you be able to make sure you can go see that, okay, if you get to Philadelphia. So here we go. Good Night, Wissahickon Valley Park. We're starting off with our morning. Good morning, Wissahickon Valley Park. Good morning, bald eagle soaring above the creek. Are we ready to share a wonderful day? So now you might have, when you go visit the park, you might have binoculars and you might look out for some of those birds or some of those things that you see. Let me show you the picture. You see how that eagle is soaring above? Next up, it's great to see you, treehouse, where learning about Wissahickon plants and animals is fun. You can think about those animals that you might see in the Wissahickon Valley Park. Hello, beach, Great Beech. You're known as a champion tree for being the largest known beech tree in the state. It is a huge tree. You can count how many kids are going around that tree right now. The Cedars House is a great gathering spot for mountain bikers, runners, and dog walkers. It says, go horseback riders trotting along Forbidden Drive. If anybody has a horse, they might go on out. But now there's also one thing. You got to make sure if you're on the trails too, it's always good if you're wearing something that supports your ankle, like boots or sneakers. Let me show you the picture. Next up, happy spring, bird watchers. Happy spring, yellow warbler and tree swallow. Howdy, friends of the Wissahickon volunteers working to improve the trails in Houston Meadow. And we talked about that bird watching. And Houston Meadow is an awesome spot to take a look. You might see some of those birds if you go to the Wissahickon Valley Park. And you can say, I saw them in the Good Night Wissahickon book. Good afternoon, beautiful covered bridge. You are more than 250 years old and the only covered bridge in Philadelphia. It is very cool if you go and you walk along it. You see that? Very neat. There's a bird flying above it too. Good day, Wissahickon, keeping watch over the forest. Greetings, gushing water pouring over McGargy Dam in the Wissahickon Creek. Wissahickon is the statue that you see there. And you see the dam flowing over the creek, the water flowing over the dam, the creek. Are you getting hungry? I know some of you might have had lunch right before or having lunch after, but if you go to the Wissahickon Valley Park, there is a delicious place. So how about a delicious lunch at the Valley Green Inn? Hello, Devil's Pool and Little Waterfall. There's the Valley Green Inn, which is a restaurant right there in the Wissahickon Valley Park. And Devil's Pool is a pretty neat place to see. We're moving through our day in our book. We've had lunch. Now it's starting to be evening. Good evening, Fingerspan Bridge, reminding us of the connection between humans and nature. Good evening, Toleration, standing proud for all to see. Again, Fingerspan Bridge and the Statue of Toleration are right there in the Wissahickon Valley Park. Fingerspan Bridge is very cool to walk through. The statues have a lot of history that you might learn about in your class or in your school. It's time to go to bed now. We're saying good night to some of the places that are in the Wissahickon Valley Park. At night, you can say good night, historic Rittenhouse Town, America's first paper mill. Good night, Hermit's Cave. And good night, Silvery Moon. You get the chance to go to Wissahickon Valley Park in the evening. It'll be very neat to see some of those things. And our last page, good night, Chipmunk and Red Fox. And I might say good night to my pals here too. Good night, bright stars twinkling over the Wissahickon Creek. Thank you for sharing a wonderful day. And thank you to my friends who tuned in to hear our story. Good night, Wissahickon Valley Park. So again, that is a story that Let's Go Outdoors is working with Friends of the Wissahickon to provide to some of you. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Keisha.
Thank you, Keisha.
That was incredible. That was incredible.
I was riveted.
Yeah. Yes. And we also have Sarah commenting here saying you can print out and make your own covered bridge here. So we have the website you can click on to create your own bridge. Thank you, Sarah, for that information. Where can people go get the book, or how can they have access to the book?
So we do sell the book on our website, and people would have to be patient with us on fulfillment at the moment, as we're having some challenges getting into where we ship out of, which is our office, which is closed.
Yeah.
But we are also connecting this program to families this summer through Let's Go Outdoors. And I think that people will be able to either connect through our website or Let's Go Outdoors website to sign up to take part. And Keisha might want to talk a little bit more about how we're trying to roll that out. But as part of that, there'll be a free component. People can get a free copy of the book for participating. And because we're really trying to still bring the intent of our Little Friends program, which was a free program for Philadelphia Public Schools, to have this field trip and the in-class component with all of this, we were very lucky to have grant funding to make that possible. And so we still want to bring the essence of that program to families, even though they're not physically in school right now. So.
Right. Okay, so someone said they noticed the book was sold out, and they said, "Oh, gotcha." So be patient, as we're there.
We have plenty of copies of the book. We're just having challenges deploying it.
Got you.
So.
But I did share FOW's website in the comment section. Also, Let's Go Outdoors website as well. So if you want to learn more about the work that they do, or if you see maybe a collaboration opportunity, please visit their websites and reach out to them that way. Is there another way people can reach out to you? Is the website the best way?
We have a pretty robust communication channel through Facebook. So if people want to send us a message on Facebook or, any of the social media channels, but Facebook's probably the easiest for people to message in, or can send any staff member an email. Our contact information is also on the website.
Perfect. Someone asked the question, maybe you'll be able, said, does the book contain information about how to find all the places included?
So there's not a map with the book. I will say that the story takes you from the northernmost point of Northwestern Avenue down Forbidden Drive. Mostly, a few of those sites were up on the upper trails, like Fingerspan Bridge. But it's then you're traveling south down Forbidden Drive all the way to essentially historic Rittenhouse Town at the southern point of the park. Which, or if you're thinking about it, maybe you're traveling, from west to east. But I always think of the park in a north to south orientation. So there's not a map with it. For the program, though, we will be providing a free map that's part of the package. And when we had our pilot runs of this program, it was super cute with the kids that were out on the field trips, and they had their map. Aww. And they're also used to looking at like a little dot on a tablet, moving them. Right. And they were like, well, where am I? And you're like, you're here. And then they walk a little bit. They're like, where am I now? And you're like, you're pretty much still there because it's, you haven't gotten that far.
That's funny. That is too funny. That's much needed, map reading, but that's hilarious with technology taking over.
I will also put a plug to the comments, sorry to interrupt, about how to find the places is if you go to fow.org/virtual valley, you'll find an interactive Google map that has all of those places highlighted as well. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. We have a lot of viewers and comments. For some reason, on my part, from the studio part, it won't let me scroll up. So I apologize for not giving you a shout out, but we had a lot of people watching from all over the city. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We had a high view. We had a lot of people engaged with us, but I would like also to thank our guests for joining me today and, telling me more about the work that you do, but also taking the time to read this incredible book that you all came up with together as a partnership. That was much needed, I think, especially as the weather is getting nicer, and also talking about some protocols and how to approach our park open spaces.
Well, thank you for having us, and thank you so much for doing this series. I think it's been a great idea, and I think we're all lucky that you're there at the Parks Alliance, Lula.
Thank you so much. And if any of our viewers, if you are interested in being part of this reading initiative, please feel free to send us an email, or and I'll put my email address in the comment section as well. If you're a service provider or local author, or if you'd like to just read one of your favorite children's books, just let us know. We would love to host you. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow at 4:30.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye.